Ring. Hello, this is Abraham. Oh, hey, God, how's it going? Oh, you want to establish a covenant with us, your people. That's awesome. Oh, you want to have a symbol of your covenant. Okay, great. A physical symbol on our bodies. I'm 100% on board. What do you have in mind? I'm sorry, I think the phone cut out a little bit. What did you say? Circumcision. What does that all entail? So circumcision, it's the thing in the Old Testament that God chose to represent his covenant with us. But why of all the things out there was this the thing chosen? Is there any significance for it today? And what does the Bible have to say? Let's take a look.
Attention, bargain shoppers.
So circumcision. God makes a covenant with his people starting with Abraham. So we see this in Genesis 17 verses 10 through 12. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For the generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner, those who are not your offspring. So God made this covenant, and he wants there to be this ongoing symbol of his covenant. It might seem a little strange to us today, but in the ancient world, this was seen as normal. Whenever rulers made treaties with their vassals, there was almost always a token or a ritual used to seal the agreement. Sometimes it was a monument or a carved inscription, something along those lines. So you might think, all right, fine. Why not have a monument? Why not have a tattoo or a statue or a symbol in the sky? I mean, after all, isn't the rainbow supposed to be a symbol of God's promise not to flood the earth again? So yeah, let's do something like that. The thing is, though, God's covenant with his people is hugely important. So unlike something like a statue or a symbol in the sky, circumcision was literally engraved onto the body. There's an intimacy there, and the act itself carries deep symbolism. To cut the flesh of the male sex organ, this was giving something private, so your most vulnerable part, to God. It is literally the life-giving part of us that is being given to God. But also, God didn't want those devoted to him to just be casual followers. He wanted people to be all in, completely devoted to him, in mind, in body, and that requires something from us, something intimate, something costly. But the symbolism doesn't just stop there with vulnerability. Circumcision represents purity in thought and in flesh. By removing the foreskin, it was a visible metaphor that Israel could remove sin and lust and stubbornness in order to get closer to God. And it was understood even back then that this was exactly what was happening. We can see in Jeremiah 4:4, circumcise yourselves to the Lord, circumcise your hearts, you people of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. So even at that time, it was understood that it was symbolic of removing impurities from our life. It pointed to holiness in the deepest and most private places that we have. Purity, not just in body, but in mind. Circumcise your heart, as scripture says. And it's also a symbol that pops up throughout Israel's history. We see when King Saul promised his daughter to David in marriage, the bride price wasn't gold or cattle. It was 100 Philistine foreskins. In 1 Samuel 18:25, we're told. Saul replied, say to David, the king wants no other price for the bride than 100 Philistine foreskins to take revenge on his enemies. Definitely a weird thing to demand if you don't have the context. See, here David wasn't just killing Saul's enemies. He was delivering up the very symbol of Israel's covenant with God. The foreskin cut away represented the defeat of the unclean, of the sinful, and the triumph of God's people. So what does this mean for us today? Well, this was actually a huge point of discussion in the early church. So after Jesus came, there was a whole lot of non-Jewish people that decided to become Christians. And so there's this big debate should people who become Christians who are not Jewish be circumcised? And we see in Romans 2:28 through 29, a person is not a Jew who is one only outwardly, nor is circumcision merely outward and physical. No, a person is a Jew who is one inwardly, and circumcision is circumcision of the heart, by the Spirit, not by the written code. So why was it necessary to be circumcised in the Old Testament, but not the New Testament? Partly because Jesus was the fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant. So it was done. But also, it was never about the act itself. It was about what the act represented. We see in Colossians 2:11, "In him you were also circumcised with a circumcision not performed by human hands. Your whole self, ruled by the flesh, was put off when you were circumcised by Christ." And that's probably for the best. That'd be a real awkward selling point at church. Hey, you want to be a Christian? That's awesome. You just need to get baptized. Great. Anything else? Yes. One other thing. But anyway, what are your thoughts on circumcision? I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. It does help out the channel. It also helps out if you could like and subscribe. I will leave the verses used today down below in the description. My name is Adam. This is Bargain Bin Theology. And remember, you get what you pay for.